Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today we're doing a ScrawlrBox unboxing and challenge completion video, and this box managed to get to me sooner than it usually does. So with any luck, that means I'm putting this video out before Casey, Rin, and Marie do, and people will actually still be looking for ScrawlrBox videos for this round when my video goes live. Fingers crossed! This is the January 2020 box number 53, and for the very first time in my history with ScrawlrBox at least, possibly their first time too, this box features pastels. As usual, I'll be reading through the info card and giving my commentary as we go, and then when I'm finished with that, I'll talk a little bit about the piece to wrap things up. If you watched last month's video, you'll know my December box didn't have the info card in it, and they told me when they sent the digital file that they were sending it out in the mail. I haven't received it yet, so I don't know if I got any extra goodies coming. I guess I'll have to update you on that in the February box video, which naturally won't be in February, it'll be in March. If that statement was confusing to you, these subscription boxes always ship partway through the month. Some of them, like Sketchbox, name their boxes for the coming month, so most customers get the box in the month it's named for, and those that don't get it early. ScrawlrBox names their box for the month it was packaged and mailed in, so UK subscribers get it in the quote-unquote correct month, and all of us international customers get it late. Oh well. I was back in BC over the holidays visiting family, and since it was both Christmas time and so close to my birthday, which was back on Sunday the 2nd, my mom kind of spoiled me a bit. She let me pick out some stuff at my favorite art store from my childhood, Opus, and I was so close to picking up some of the pastels that came in this box. Total coincidence. This box hadn't even shipped yet, never mind arrived at my house, and if it had, I wouldn't have been there to open it anyway. But I didn't end up picking these. I got a big set of Conte à Paris crayons and a couple half pans of Van Gogh watercolors. The featured artist in this month's box is Marlene Rye, and you can pause the part where I showed the back of her print if you want to read her blurb and check out her links. Gorgeous piece. I'm not entirely sure which way is meant to be up. It kind of works any which way, and there's no obvious signature on it that would help with orientation, but it's beautiful. Before I get into the info card, I just want to run through my usual spiel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. I upload twice a week at minimum, every Tuesday and Thursday, and some weeks I also have bonus videos. I'm getting close to qualifying for the YouTube Partner Program now, and I'll be holding an international giveaway to celebrate when I qualify. If you want to be eligible, make sure you're subscribed, and if you want it to happen sooner rather than later, make sure you watch all the way through to boost watch time. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and leave a comment down below. If you also got this box, I'd love to hear what you thought of it. What do you think of the supplies? Do you normally like pastels or not? Was this an easy and inspiring prompt, or did you struggle with it? I've been seeing a lot of posts on Instagram where people have added black silhouettes to their pieces, but there are no black items in this box, and the silhouettes are done far too cleanly to be a mixture of colors to get black, so I see a lot of cheaters. Alright, time to read the card. The blurb at the top says, "Happy New Year, Scrawlers! This month we have taken inspiration from our very talented featured artist to put together a great selection of supplies to help you explore an artistic medium that you may not have tried before. Soft pastels are a great tool for bold, vibrant colors and expressive marks. Try using the ends, sides, and tips of each tool to see what different marks and textures you can create. Try smudging and blending and combining the colors together too. Then use the various techniques to bring your art to life. We want you to let go a little and not worry about the subject itself, but more about the marks you make and how the colors interact and blend. Start with a sunset or sky visual that reminds you of a certain time or place, and then try to convey that feeling with your work. Scrawler tip: an advantage of using sanded surfaces, like the paper included, is that the pastel can be erased and reworked to some degree. Keep in mind that soft pastels fill the grain of the paper rather quickly. Test it out and check the limits before you get started, and don't forget to keep your eraser clean to avoid contamination. First up is the Rembrandt Soft Pastels Half Stick Set. A set of 10 half-stick soft pastels from Royal Talon's Rembrandt Professional range. Pastels are a soft type of chalk based on kaolin, china clay, and pigment, with which drawings can be made in a style similar to painting. Artists who work with pastels tend to see their work as a painting rather than a drawing. These pastels offer excellent color release and intense, pure colors. They have a good degree of light fastness and a very high coloring power due to high concentration of pigment. Rembrandt soft pastels owe their quality to close collaboration with professional artists, combined with traditional expertise and more than a century of experience in pastel manufacturing. Each color is made according to a unique formula, and the necessary raw materials go through very strict controls for each new batch. The suggested retail price in British pounds sterling is £12.95. As usual, I'll have the box contents and subscription info in the description box down below, and I'll have all the prices and value calculations converted to US dollars and Canadian dollars as well. Like I said, I almost picked these up over the holidays, so I was very excited to get these. I love pastels as long as they aren't oil pastels, and these colors are absolutely gorgeous. If you're not familiar with the different types of pastels, traditionally there are oil, hard, and soft pastels. If you've ever heard of people refer to chalk pastels, they're talking about hard pastels, which are much harder sticks as the name implies. Soft pastels are a much looser stick. The differences are in the amount of binder used and how the stick was pressed and formed. Soft pastels are better for covering large areas and making expressive marks, whereas hard pastels are better for sketching and fine details. You can also get pastels in pencil form, and usually those are hard pastel cores, but some brands also make an oil pastel pencil. Then of course there's pan pastels, which are basically the pigment and binder mix of non-oil pastels, but dried as a loose powder and pressed into pans like makeup. Then you can pick it up with a foam tool, a brush, or your fingers, also like makeup. Art crayons, although they look and feel very similar to pastels and might even be called pastels in some parts of the world, aren't true pastels. Crayons are wax-based, and some of them are water-soluble like Conte crayons. Compressed charcoal sticks are another thing that some people might refer to as pastels, but once again, not pastels. If you guys want a video on the different types of pastels and how to use them, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I've got all the types, and I can even compare to artist crayons and compressed charcoal. But I'm getting a little off topic now. This Rembrandt set is the Desert Colors palette, and it's beautiful. It really lends itself nicely to a sunset type painting, which is probably why they picked it for this month's challenge. I think maybe next time I have the opportunity to get Rembrandt soft pastels, I'll go through with it. I can't wait to use these in my other works. Next up is 3 Bruynzeel Design Pastel Pencils. As with watercolor, it's helpful to use pastels to add finer details to your work. You can work more precisely than with pastel sticks, ensuring that you're not limited to bolder strokes and can take that extra step to refine your work. These Bruynzeel Design Pastel Pencils are essentially superior quality pastels encased within a wooden pencil. The high-quality pastel pencils are crafted with the finest light-fast pigments and kaolin clay. The 3.7mm wide gauge, perfectly centered and double-glued colored cores combine with the finest light cedar casings to make them very resistant to breaking. They also hold a point better than most pastel pencils and are a joy to sharpen. Suggested retail price is £2.29 per pencil, which works out to £6.87 for the trio. These really are nice pastel pencils. I didn't know Bruynzeel made them. I've only ever heard of Bruynzeel for their traditional colored pencils. Normally, when I'm reading about pastel pencils, it's Faber-Castell, Derwent, Stabilo, or Conte. The 3 colors we got complement my Carbothello set nicely, so that's a plus. I wish one of them had been black though, so we could do crisp black silhouettes without cheating and using supplies from elsewhere. These pencils don't have color names on the barrels, just numbers, but if I compare across to the Bruynzeel product listings on Jackson's, affiliate link in the description by the way, it looks like we've got Vermillion, Dark Pink, and Ultramarine. They come in 48 colors in sets of 12, 24, 36, and 48, as well as open stock. Looks like you can save about £0.50 per pencil off the suggested retail price over at Jackson's, right now at least. They're comparable in price to Faber-Castell's Pitt pastel pencils and a little bit more than Carbothello's, if that gives you any indication of the quality. The sharpener you'll see me using for these pastel pencils is the one that came in my Carbothello set. That set also came with a paper blending stump, but you can get rubber-ended blenders for pastels, and the eraser that came with that set is a kneadable eraser. So if you're just trying pastels for the first time, those are the tools you're going to want to have on hand. A pastel pencil sharpener is just like any other manual sharpener, except the hole is a little bit wider because pastel pencils tend to be a bit wider in diameter. Sharpeners meant for crayons or for a lot of different Derwent pencils, since those tend to be girthier too, will do fine. Don't try to sharpen your pastel pencils in your electric or hand crank sharpeners that are sized for more standard pencils. I made that mistake recently. If the pastel lead breaks off in the sharpening mechanism, it's ridiculously hard to get it out, because when you try to poke and prod it loose, it'll just crumble little by little. I tried to dissolve it out with some rubbing alcohol, and I ended up making some blackish brown fluid flow out of the crank, which was probably some sort of grease in the gears, so, oops. My fancy Mitsubishi sharpener lost some lubricant. By the way, again, all the prices and calculations are in the description box below, but based on suggested retail price alone, this has surpassed the basic box subscription price of £15 per box. We're sitting at £19.82, and there's about £1 worth of paper, so even international customers paying month to month with shipping at the very least broke even on the suggested retail price value here. Good box. And on that note, the included paper is Canson Mi-Teints Touch paper 350 GSM. The unique surface texture of Mi-Teints Touch paper allows for many creative possibilities and layering of pigments. These high-quality paper sheets retain all dry pigments perfectly because they have microabrasive surfaces created by a sanded primer. Mi-Teints Touch paper is the ideal surface for dry pastels, allowing them to perform beautifully. Give your artwork a new dimension while allowing colors to really pop due to the thinly sanded surface. So there's no official price given on the paper selection here, but based on some quick research I did for this product line on Jackson's, I'm estimating these two A5 sheets alone are about £1 worth of paper. I was really surprised to find that this is sanded paper. I've heard of Mi-Teints pastel paper before, quite often in fact, and it's never been mentioned that this is sanded paper. I've never heard it called Touch though, so I'm guessing Touch is a separate line of sanded paper. This paper feels like extremely fine grit sandpaper. I've been curious about sanded paper since the first time I heard about it. A lot of colored pencil artists really swear by it, and it's the only type of paper you can use if you're using powdered blender for colored pencils. Now I'm torn on whether I'll use the other sheet for another pastel piece, or if I want to try it with colored pencil. The challenge prompt for this month, as you already saw at the beginning when I showed you both sides of the card, is reflective skies. I chose to do a warm-toned sunset sky on a shoreline reflected in the water. It was a lot of fun to blend the colors and try to get a matching sky and water blend. I had a little trouble with the blues and purples from the land portions clinging to the sanded grain of the paper, where the water was supposed to be warm-toned when I started to shake and blow the loose pigments away, but I was able to fix that with more warm layers. Again, my only regret is that we weren't given a black for sharp silhouettes. The photo I saw that gave me the idea for this composition had a person fishing in a little rowboat just off the edge of an island or a peninsula, and the person on the boat were entirely black. The landmass was black fading out to blue, and the sky and water were colored a lot like what I've done here. Let me know what you think of this box and my reflective sky piece in the comments down below, and tell me where I can see your challenge piece if you got this box as well. I'd love to see it. Bye guys.